Okay. We're going to get this off the ground a little bit like this. This one's looking good right here. So
Now, is this a yearly thing, or is this something that happens because these are new plants?
this will be just the main one is the first year, and
The
then
first
the second
year.
year you just troubleshoot. So I'm troubleshooting right now on some of these guys. They have grown a lot. We had a really good winter, a lot of water and semi-mild temperatures. So these, well, I mean, you can just see. Look at how
yeah.
it's just loaded with fruit. So I'm expecting a good year this year. The only trouble with doing these is there is about 3,000 of these to do. So, so as a result, you have to have patience. And when you do get into, like you get tired of it and all that, go in and have a glass of wine and then come back out and you'll go, uh-oh, I'm going to keep doing this. This is good.
Exactly.
So, yeah, this is, these are all new. This is actually a Primitivo. So this will be quite a big deal here one day. And we're a year or so away. We'll get a crop out of it this year, but it'll be a young tasting thing. So it's not something we're going to bottle and put in a competition. But it'll, well, you know, we'll see. But we'll see.
The vines need a year or two to produce.
Well,
To get the vines, to get the grapes that you want?
Well, we generally buy a 1-year-old vine already, and about the size of the root system is about the size of my fingers.
Okay.
And the stalk is up about like this. So we put them in, fertilize the area, water the heck out of it, and then after 2 years later, then we can actually pull some stuff. So the vine is actually 3 years old.
3
at that
years
point.
old. Gotcha.
But then, well, I won the bronze medal in the state competition in Colorado on a 3-year-old vine. So, you know,
Right.
I don't want to discount the, you know, just because they're young, they can't be good. You know,
Right.
That's not true.
A lot of it has to do with the appellation. It's picking
Yep.
up from the soil, right?
Well, and how you take care of them and
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. A couple of these little guys like this are, you know, they're just loaded here, but I probably, one little problem you may have around here with the things that are hanging like this is the wind.
Yes.
The wind will take it and wrap it around, and that can't be good. So that's why, of course, you want them, this is called a cordon, so you want them to go off on the cordon.
Mm-hmm.
And then this will reach up later on this year. It'll reach up to here and start down these cordons as well. So then we have to do the same thing up there. But this one right here, you see, this doesn't have much of a chance of making it. All it's going to do is just grow out here.
Right.
Since it's the first part of May right now, these plants are just starting to leaf out. So this was probably pretty bare about 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks. And so this is how much, well, you can see
Right.
some are better than others. This one here is got loads of fruit on it, but it's a little light on the leaves.
Correct.
So you can imagine if this is just 2 weeks worth. Let's go all the way through July, June.
Mhm.
So this thing is going to be all over the place here.
Yep.
Yeah, Johnny Appleseed, keeps on growing.
Indeed.
So I'm going to put this up here just to keep it out of the wind. And this other branch right up here is actually naturally tied onto this. It's got one of those little, if you know grapevines,
Right.
it's you can see it right there. It's just clung onto it, so it's going to be able to hold the fruit.
Right.
Because this fruit's going to get heavy.
Sure.
So I mean, you got to have these things on these cordons like this. Actually, this might be good enough just like that, and then this will grow like beanstalk, and it'll just wrap around that. So
Right.
that's good. So we can maybe move on to the next one.
And it will assist on one vine, will assist another vine to grow too.
Yeah, well, that's the reason we have these metal wires here, because that'll hold up. It doesn't look like it, but you can see how much fruit's going to be on these things.
Oh yeah.
And it gets really heavy.
Right.
So this wiring has to be really strong. These right here are adjustable. They're like a telephone pole with the wire, and this holds up the weight. So it's not like we have one long row all the way down there. This is like 1/8 of a mile or more.
Right.
And so you have to have these telephone poles. Now we can, these are adjusted, and these are stainless steel, so they're really expensive, but they do the job. So from here to the next telephone pole, these will hold the wires up, and all this fruit will be up in here, say mid-July. So that's about 2 months from now. Considering it's Cinco de Mayo was yesterday.
Yep, yesterday. Yeah.
So this is pretty good for the first part of May here.
Indeed.
So maybe one of the best years I've ever seen. It's a little scary. We're going to have a huge crop, assuming we get some, half decent average weather. So we'll check it out. Who knows? Being in the farmer business is always a treat when you wake up in the morning and look out the door. I mean, a couple of days ago we had hail. So
right.
Now hail is one of your worst spring enemies here, but it only lasted for a minute or two, and I didn't see any damage. But when the hail hits these little tiny grapes, it knocks them out and kills them.
Right.
So you don't want a lot of hail.
No.
And the hail was bigger than pea size.
They were big. They were big. They were big.
So,
indeed.
When that just blew over, I was very happy. Yeah, because a couple of the other vineyards last year had some hail issues, and it actually knocked them out.
Wow.
It knocked that varietal out.
Knocked that varietal out.
The one in particular was the Chardonnay up in the mountain. He had a lot of trouble with that because of the hail. So I'm just going to tie this up because on this cordon, it's low. It's this guy here is going to be much bigger, and we'll eventually tie this guy probably to this one. I could maybe do it now, but it's sort of a little awkward.
Right, a little
I think
stress on it.
I'll let it grow out because when you see all the grapes in here,
right.
This will be way down.
Indeed.
Because it'll be so heavy. We'll just go to a store and buy a big, thing of grapes.
Imagine how heavy that is, right?
Yeah, that's
2-3 pounds.
And there's about 6 or 7 of them just on this little guy.
Right.
So you have to have this all set up like this so it can cover the weight. So all I'm going to do right now is just with this Velcro, but I don't want to do it tightly because the actual branch will grow. So you have to really, it grows bigger like this. So when that happens, you can't restrict the like the blood flow, and like if you did a tourniquet on your arm, for instance. So it's very important to watch this.
Allow room
Give
to grow.
this the best chance you can. See, it's no brain surgery here, but I just tied up. So it looks a little weird right now, but this will grow out and grow those little, not suckers,
spinlets
but
or whatever
they just tie onto this wire here, so they'll naturally be okay. And then we'll come back and revisit this maybe in a few days. Well, no, a little longer, maybe next week. And this will probably, the way these things are growing, it'll probably be out to here in this time next week. So
right.
Then I can tie it up to this one right here, and it'll run down here. Now these guys right here, these are all reaching to the sky right now. And these are very young plants, as you can see. These are little older plants down here, so you can see how the bottom part of the stalks over there, the ones a little further, like 2 or 3 rows down,
right.
They're all clean and all that. These will be just like that next year. Let these grow for a while, and then to give them, so I can find out where the big main branches are. Then I start to prune them back, and they'll look like that in next year. But this year, I'm just going to let them run. They were loaded with fruit. I'm just going to, when you can see, it's almost reaching.
Almost to the top wire.
Yeah, next week it'll be up here, and then I'll start to maybe see if I can get it to run down this way. This fella here has a fair amount of fruit. Yeah, look, I mean, there's like 6 or 7 things of grapes. So I'll be tying this up next week. Now, here's a better example right here. See, this guy is getting a little tie. These little things will reach out right there. You see there? This is from last year, but it will reach out and tie itself naturally to that, like that. So, but I help them.
Yep.
Yeah, I help them,
because it's windy.
Yeah. You don't want them to whip around in the wind.
Yeah, your hair naturally does that.
Yeah. Well, we're having a nice, cool spring this year, 2023. So this is optimum weather for this type of a thing. So Well, you can just look down here. I almost need a machete on this. I mean,
Right?
it's like, what in the heck is going on? These things are growing like gangbusters. We fertilize them, augmented the soil twice, so now they are just saying, yeah, I love this place.
Indeed.
And they do. You have to pick the right varietals to make sure that they can handle the sun. If they can't, for instance, we're lower here at 3,000 feet, so it does get like hotter than vineyards at 5,000 feet. We have you can see it's just ground up sandstone from the Cayenta sandstone range, and this is over millions of years. It's all just settled out here, and then so we augment this, and we have to pick hot weather grapes. Like Zinfandel goes very well. Cab does well here. Our Petit Syrah is, I love our Petit Syrah. It's one of the best. So, and then also we have Syrah, we do Sangiovese, we have a Carrion, and then in the white wines we have a Semillon Blanc, which is a little Bordeaux style mineral-y type of white. The strict Sauvignon Blanc, which is delicious, and our Grenache Blanc, which is probably our flagship white wine, and then the Viognier. Now this year Viognier is a very important white wine because it's so aromatic. And then what I like to do is I like to put maybe 2 or 3% in our red wines.
Wow.
I don't have to put it on the bottle, I just do it. And what it does, it helps. There's something in the grape, I wish I was a chemist and knew, but that sort of marries the flavors really well. And then it also adds a nice nose to it. So when you get a glass of wine, like in a restaurant in Las Vegas or New York or something, and you're paying, a fair amount of money for it, first thing you want to do is you're going to look at the color and the viscosity, and then you're going to take it to your nose. Okay, that looks good, let's go next. Nose, okay, that Viognier just helps it. It's a little bit like a cologne on you.
Nice.
On a guy, and so that helps and then so immediately your mind is, this is a good drink.
Indeed.
And so you're not going, everything is bad, let's see how it tastes. You don't want to go into drinking a wine like that. You want, I'm feeling good about this. Boom, and then helps you drink it, and then of course it tastes good too. You go, golly, I would pay $1 million for that bottle at ZION Vineyard.
At ZION Vineyard. Indeed.
Okay.
Well, it's $1 million view, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, we're going to really show them that area just a little bit. And next year, when that same look at the same shot you have there will be completely different. There'll be a totally different view. We'll have that building up and rolling. There'll be the tasting room will all be right there where those rocks are over there. So it's hard to imagine that. And then we'll have places to walk all through the vineyard. A lot of people that come in the tasting room now, which is in our production area right now until we get this the other one finished. It's fine right now until we have our wine being produced and made, which is usually in August, September, and October. Until then, we'll just have to keep all the tasting in there, which will be fine. And then next year, at this time, it'll be over in the main building.
Wow.
So that'll be pretty cool.
That will be fantastic.
Yeah, but I'm so glad you just come here. This is when it starts right here. It's only been going here for a couple of weeks, so I mean it looks really good. So you can imagine the foliage about 6 or 7 times as much by let's say it's middle of June, around there, and then loaded with grapes. There, of course, they'll be green looking at first, and then when the sun starts to get them, get the sugar rolling, they'll start to have a little red tone, on the red wines, of course. And then, for instance, like this right here is an Italian Zin, and this you can see the little tiny guys here. These are all the grapes that are going to be coming out, and these are huge. And
indeed.
and they're going to be large. So we're
Yeah.
looking real good this year. So, boy, I wish it was that way every year. Last year we had the monsoons. Not that it rained that much here. It just covered. It was like an umbrella, and as a result, the sugar didn't come up. So overall, our production was about 60% of the juice that we normally get last year.
Wow.
So it was a little disappointing. What we got was really good.
Right.
It was more condensed.
I was gonna say more
It had
intense
a
flavors, right?
condensed flavor. So that's good. But I want the condensed flavors, and I want the volume. So,
Indeed.
yeah, but so when you look at this right here, this is, you can't get any better than this at this moment. So we'll be trimming them all up. We'll be removing the little, we have these little things to protect them from the wind and then also rabbits, but we really have very little rabbit problem. For some reason, the rabbits don't really hang around here. They're running around over
A lot
there.
more coyotes.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. There's probably more coyotes. So these will be more trimmed out, like a few rows over next year. But
when you do the bare trunk coming up,
it'll
if
be
you will.
bare trunk from here down.
Right.
Yeah, but right now I just didn't want to take a chance of cutting it back.
Put stress on the plant.
Put a whole lot of stress, maybe disease,
Right. Okay.
things like that. Let's get them going.
It's protection.
Now,
It's a shield.
Yeah, these plants right here, like in the winter, if we happen to have a bad winter, which we haven't since 2014. So then these little things, they help too. They help.
Right.
Now, these plants right here during the winter time, if it freezes, they're still fine, but you have to let them get to be about 2 years old before you're over that. Now, if you had 3 days of, crazy, unbelievable weather, like we'll say 20 degrees, it doesn't get over 22 or 23 degrees, it can happen. It hasn't happened in a long time, but when it does, you're going to have damage.
Right.
In the ground, it'll still
Frost
be alive
damage.
and all that, and then we'll just have to hope for the best. I hate to talk negatively, but it can happen. We're just riding the show right now and hoping for the best.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Indeed, Michael. Indeed. Cool. That was a nice first run. I like that.
Yeah.